Biologist Craig Matkin has studied orcas all over Prince William Sound. We caught up with Craig in Resurrection Bay to learn more about these amazing animals. How do you find whales?
Well, basically, we do a lot of looking. And we got a good pair of binoculars, and we scan the horizon. We also use a hydrophone, which is basically an underwater microphone. And the other thing we use that's real important is just other boats calling us. Here they are, Eva.
What group of whales is this?
It's AD5, and
That's amazing. Jeez.
her daughter. The daughter is on this side, the mother's in the middle, and the son is on the far side.
I never see this kind of thing. Like, compared to the boat, would it be about the size of the boat or a little bit smaller?
It's a little smaller. They're a little shorter than the boat. They're year-round residents of this coastline. Some of the marine mammal hunters, the ones we call transients, move up and down the coast 1,500 miles or more.
Why do you see them in groups?
Their social system is called a matrilinear social system, and basically a mother and all her offspring travel together for life. What you're seeing when you see these groups is a mother, her sons, and her daughters. And then the daughters, when they have young ones, they still stay close to their mothers. And the sons stay next to their mothers for life.
How many different groups of whales are there?
Well, Scott, these are the AKs. This is one of the pods, and there's 6 animals in this group here, but there's 10 other pods that we see quite frequently in Prince William Sound, Kenai fjords, and they total about 150, 160 animals. Yep, that's AK1.
How can you tell them apart?
Well, after you look at enough dorsal fins and those white-gray patches beneath the dorsal fin, they start to look different, just like people's faces do. So essentially, fin shape and that white saddle patch, Scott, we can tell who's who and figure out who's born and who's died in all the groups.
What do they eat?
It's not as simple as we thought at first. We thought, well, killer whales just eat everything, right? In fact, what we found out is there are, first of all, 2 types of killer whales out here, Scott. There's what we call residents. They're the fish eaters. They do eat exclusively fish from what we can tell, and it's mainly salmon, coho and Chinook. And then we've got our transients, which are marine mammal eaters. They prefer harbor seals, it looks like, but they also eat Dall's porpoise, some stellar sea lions.
Do we bother them by getting close to them in boats?
We do think that when boats move quickly and move too close to the animals that they do harass them. In some of our work, we have to move close to them, at least for short periods, to get our photographs and also to do our biopsy samples. But it's actually illegal for people to drive too close and harass whales. Any closer than 100 yards is considered to be too close to the animals. Okay, Scott, I'm gonna have you deploy the hydrophone here so we can listen and see if they're making any calls. Go ahead and lower that microphone. By recording the calls, we can tell what group it is. In fact, each group makes specific calls only to that group.
How deep would you like the hydrophone to be?
About 20 feet. I think it's about good enough there, Scott. Let's see what we can hear. There we go. Do you hear that? Those are the calls they're making.
Can you tell the different calls from the...
Yeah, each group makes about anywhere from 5 to 15 different calls. And by listening to the different calls, we can tell which group it is. I've learned that they're incredibly complex creatures. I've learned that these whales are something to be respected. I think I've learned how important salmon are, not just to those of us that eat and find them important in our diet, but they're incredibly important to the whales as well. Basically, this marine environment is a precious resource that is important for the whales and for us. One of the surprising things is there aren't that many killer whales up here. The number of killer whales that operate up and down these hundreds of miles of coastline here, the North Gulf Coast of Alaska, is in the hundreds, not in the thousands as people once thought. So I think I've also learned that there's room for whales and there's room for people, but perhaps too much development or too much activity of people could be harmful for the whales.